With almost 8 million people modifying their cars each year, there are bound to be some stinkers. And in today's video, I will be discussing almost all of the worst types of modifications and the car people with the worst taste. And just a disclaimer, this is my own personal opinion. And the first kind of segment of goofy car mods that I would like to discuss today would be the people that spend exuberant amounts of money on stuff that just doesn't really look that good. And this can be sectioned up into a few different types of mods. And the first of those would be the people that spend all sorts of money modifying an already eye-wateringly expensive supercar, and they somehow make it uglier. And usually it isn't them that's modifying it, it's a company like Mansory or Kevani. Usually they just get the end product, which looks like a really bad plastic surgery. And this is very unusual to me because I'm not going to judge people's taste like too crazy here, because again, they like what they like, and so what if they like really bad paint jobs mixed with interiors that don't match and ugly like chopped cheese looking carbon fiber, but it's ugly. And when I take issue with it is when they take this to a car that is like dream car level, like the Ford GT. I saw the Mansory Ford GT, and honestly, like I was at a loss for words, because that is what I would say one of the most beautiful cars that they've made in the past 5-10 years, and they absolutely destroyed it. It's a little bit like they took, you know, a paintbrush and just splattered paint all over the walls of like a Victorian-era mansion, or maybe a Frank Lloyd Wright house. And they didn't really consider, oh, well, will this look good, or will it be abhorrently ugly? And it was terrible. It was absolutely eye-wateringly terrible. And that kind of sums up the rich person modifying of supercars. Like, you've got to be crazy wealthy and maybe not have the most common sense to do this. So that's why there are a lot of, like, Arabian princes that do this, because they have all sorts of money and not really a firm grasp on reality because of all their money. And nobody really ever tells them no. And they're like, you know what? I like my Bugatti, but I would sure like it a lot more if it had some ugly body modifications that nobody else is rich enough or stupid enough to try, so might as well give it a shot. And that's why I would say that this is bad, but it's not super bad, because I'm not likely to ever see a Mansory kitted Urus or anything like that. But what I am likely to see is the cars that are more commonplace, but have stupid amounts of money dumped into pretty much pointless mods that you would see every day. And this is mostly owned by ordinary folk that take out 3 or 4 mortgages on their houses just so they can put a lift kit, some really bad looking 24-inch wheels, and stretchy rubber band tires on their Ford F-350, and then drive it around and be a threat to pretty much everyone on the road, both with their boat horns and their erratic driving at best, but also the fact that their tires look as if they're about to pop. And this is what kind of really makes me scratch my head, because this is a normal person, and instead of spending their money to send their kids to college, they spend it and make their credit score lower than a worm's IQ in the process on their truck. And this is just going to make it depreciate like crazy. Like, the supercars, those depreciate as a result of the Mansory kits, but nobody really cares because the people that own them are so rich that it doesn't affect them pretty much. But this will affect you, and especially if the truck stops working like most new trucks do. I mean, you're screwed. The crazy mods that I'm going to be discussing now kind of are fed into by the supercar modifiers and the people that are throwing money at stuff, because those mods also look absolutely nuts, and maybe not always in the best way. But these are the ones that are a little bit more commonplace, like the common folk. Maybe someone with a few extra $1,000s to spend, or even a few extra dollars to spend, can do this to their car and ride around and think that they're, you know, something special, but really they're just a little special. And the first group of people that do this stuff, like the crazy, outlandish, off the wall, stop dead in your tracks and like gape sort of mods, are the people that have anime wraps. And I do not understand this. For the life of me, I cannot understand how some Discord moderator would decide, hey, you know what, I'm going to come out of my basement, and I'm going to get in my Honda Civic, and I'm going to drive down to a local wrap shop, and I'm going to go and say, you know what, no, I don't want a regular wrap. And the wrap guy's going to be like, oh, okay, what do you want, you know? You want me to do a little pattern, something, you know, a race livery, something like that? And you're like, no, can you do like a cartoon on the side? And the wrap guy will be like, yeah, sure, well, what sort of cartoon you want, like Tom and Jerry, you know, something like that. And the guy, no, give me this. This is what I want. And then the dude that's, you know, owning the wrap shop he'll have a heart attack, and then he'll come to, and he'll be like, you know what, you need to call the police, arrest this man, because he wants to drive around in an anime-themed car, and I can't let that happen. And I'm sure that there are some that are, like, themed after, like, you know, actually good animes, and it's like coming from a place, actually I'm sure all of it comes from a place of passion, but a lot of it I feel like comes from a weird place of passion, if you know what I mean. And I just can't understand the thought process, and you gotta be a nutty sort of individual to put this on your car and drive around. Like, it will never fail to confuse me why someone would drive around with a barely dressed female on the side of their car. Like, okay, whatever. It just doesn't make sense to me. And the next group of crazy modifiers are much less, like, creepy. But this is just another kind of equally as confusing sort of group. And this would be the people that just do crazy stuff to do crazy stuff. Like, the people that, like, weld the front of one car to the front of another and make, like, a, I don't know, some weird Stranger Things portal-looking car. Like, that sort of thing. And honestly, it's more entertaining than anything. Like, this is like, okay, well, how crazy can we make it look? Like, how much glue does it look like we would have had to been sniffing to weld these two things together and make this? And this reminds me of something a friend sent me, and he was on a vacation, and he saw this Volkswagen Beetle that had been plastic dipped pink, and it, you know, it looked a little crusty, but then you look up and there's some pig ears. And you look down and there's a pig snout. And I'm sure that this was like advertisement for some barbecue place or whatnot, but I'm sure there's someone that would have driven something like this on the road and been like, yeah, this is my whip, this is my whip, check it out. And I mean, the Beetle is like a canvas for these sort of things. Like, there are ladies that be putting eyelashes on their Beetles and like the rhinestones and all that sort of stuff, and that's like a whole different thing. You know, a story for a different day. But those sort of mods honestly just kind of make me giggle a little bit and kind of scratch my head. And the last group of car people that I would say have bad taste are the people that pretty much adopt their taste. And those are the people that scroll on TikTok and they see, like, say, a Subaru BRZ on some work wheels and, like, with some cool fitment. And even though they're more of, like, a meaty tire sort of setup guy, you know, they're like, oh, shoot, you know, this will get me some likes. You know what? I'm gonna roll with it. And then they bend, like, 4 rims and 3 control arms, and they're like, yeah, no, but this is still my thing, and then they're like holding back the tears, and they're going to therapy every day because, like, they can't handle the stance life, and that's not their thing. I mean, it could be done in a tasteful way, but, like, I'm gonna say they don't have taste because they don't. They're just adopting someone's taste, and it's kind of hard to tell. And, like, I'm not gonna be like the content police or whatever and be like, oh yeah, this is clout chasing, unless it's like really obvious. Like that Stancy Pants fellow, I've already made 2 videos on him. It's obviously clout chasing, but it can extend to more than just like TikTok and people my age. It could be old dudes too. Like, not everyone that has their like muscle cars like this, and there are people that are like, you know, only original engine, you know, you can't do anything else. And like, I know for a fact that not everyone believes that, and I know for a fact that at least some of those old geezers like just say that because it gets them a little bit of attention and kind of a weird look or two at a car show. And really they're like, oh, you know what, I'd like to drive something that actually works. So this is going to be the shortest segment because really I haven't thought about enough jokes for this. But like also at the same time, I've already kind of discussed it in a few other videos. And I mean, I'm just kind of over it. Like, honestly, do what you want with your car, but video was intended to be kind of funny and, like, you know, poke a little bit of fun at the people that modify their cars in, like, silly ways and the sort of stuff that you'd see out on the road and just be like, look at that guy, you know, he a little more money than sense.